Welcome to Take One Talk, a podcast with suggestions and topics made up on the spot, and Take One has to deal with the chaos. Make sure to send in your comments and questions to our social media at Take One Improv so we can talk about it on our show. Now, get ready to take off your pants and piss yourself.
Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Take One Talk. I am your host, Christian Harris, and I'm joined today by...
Corey Phillips and Thunder Chunks.
I am not Thunder Chunks.
Thunder Chunks at Mach 7, hitting that water.
Danielle Phillips.
Splashing
Thunder
down.
Chunks.
It's where the water hits your butt. When you...
We get a little splash?
Yeah,
like you're in the wave pool?
Yeah. Wait, you...
You shouldn't be doing that in the wave pool.
Everyone does.
You really
Everyone does.
Everyone does what?
Thunder Chunks.
They find so much poo in the wave pool.
Oh, so you are talking about the same
Yeah,
thing.
no.
Yeah, they find a lot.
Really? That's a terrible...
Yeah, I think it's because like you get in there and it kind of like gives you a little motion sickness.
Yeah.
I think that's like
You know what happens when I get motion sickness? I don't poop myself. Like, that's not what happens. Like, oh no, I have motion sickness. Oh, you need to throw up? It's not there.
No, it's the other way. Oh no.
Sounds the same. It's so stupid.
We're 10 seconds in and already talking about poop. So, we are Take One. Who's Take One? Take One is a group of professional actors and improvisers.
That's a loose term, professional.
We are self-titled professional actors and improvisers who tour around the United States doing shows at conventions, theaters, and festivals. And yeah, so we're doing
you
this.
Move your foot.
So what's the show about? It is watching two married people argue about where their feet should go.
Well, I'm trying to pour out jelly beans.
jelly beans.
I'm trying to pour out jelly beans. All your authority is gone. I got my jelly beans and my whiskey.
No, my whiskey and my jelly beans.
Where are your Werthers?
I am a grown-up child.
Yeah. Grown-up child.
Yeah.
Self-titled.
Anyways.
Cool. So how are you guys?
I'm great. I'm drinking whiskey, eating jelly beans. I've reached the apex of life.
It's way too early in the episode for my face to hurt.
But I'm having a good week.
Good.
I'm having a real good week.
Why are you having a good week, Corey?
Yeah, Corey, is there anything, like any news recently that's happened?
I learned that Danny is just as bad a teacher as I am, which is awesome.
That's good.
Today I was on top of a horse and she's yelling commands at me like I understand. It felt like
tell him what it felt like.
Hold on, before we get into that, you were on top of a horse. We're going to say that he was riding a horse with a saddle and everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't just mounting a horse.
No, I was not riding. It was not moving a lot. And then, like, she's yelling at me. And it was basically like
I wasn't yelling. I was projecting. He was on the horse.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like whenever you're in a foreign country and they're just yelling at you and you don't know what you've done wrong, but they're very obviously mad. And you're just like, I don't know. I don't want to be doing whatever I'm doing because you're obviously upset by it. And they're just like, and I'm like, I don't know what you're mad about.
What country is that?
I was trying to do as generic as possible.
Okay, good.
Is that Yosemite Sam?
No, yeah, it's Texas. Or I guess Yosemite's not in. Where is Yosemite Sam from?
Yosemite.
Where is Yosemite?
Where's Yosemite?
Yosemite National Park.
Is that in
Yeah,
Montana?
where's that?
It's like, actually, it spans like several states.
Really?
Where's
Nevada?
Yosemite itself? Is it
I don't.
Montana?
Yeah, he's from Montana.
He's from Montana.
Yeah.
He's from Montana. But yeah, so it was terrible. But other than that, episode 1 of an anime that I am a lead character in for my very first time, MF Ghost, has a...
We can't say what it stands for, right?
We don't know. It is not revealed what MF stands for.
Yeah, we don't know.
We have no idea.
Motor vehicles.
Motor feelings.
Motor feelings.
Some of the prevailing theories is Mount Fuji.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
What is it? Rig came up with one. It was
Rig is the director of MF Ghost.
it was like motor fuel Grand Prix.
Oh,
Because like in the canon, it's like gas is
right,
a dying thing. So
right.
Okay.
Because they do electric vehicles. This is like one of the rare, maybe even the only racing circuit that uses gas vehicles.
it's the only one.
Yeah.
So,
I like that one.
It's
though,
dying out
motor.
here too, so.
but yeah. So I play one of the main leads. His name's Shun Aiba. He drives a Nissan GTR, and I'm so excited. It's like my favorite. If you ask, I think I told you this earlier. You asked me like what car, like what character I would want based on their car. It'd be Shun.
Yeah.
Really?
Because he has the GTR. It's like there's another character that has the new Supra that just showed up in the manga. For me, I'm reading right now, and I don't care about Supras. I don't really. Not the
See,
new ones.
I want the Type R. The guy
Yeah,
who drives the
there's-
Type R.
Well, he doesn't drive it for very long.
What?
He only drives it for like one race, and then he upgrades it to an NSX.
Yeah. The character I wanted
What a
was the
loser.
one in the station wagon. Was there one in a station
The
wagon?
dad.
Yeah. I wanted to be the dad.
The dad. Yeah, the drifting. The cool thing about MF Ghost is that it is the successor to Initial D, which, fun fact, for you guys, was like my introductory anime when I realized I was like watching anime. My cousin brought over an episodes of Initial D for like a Christmas or something, and when I was watching it, and I was like hooked. I was like, this is everything I want. Cool lead character, one of the most banging soundtracks known to man, and cars doing cool car things, and I loved it.
Did you get it on DVD? Like
Yeah, it was-
VHS?
it was-
what's your
I don't
preferred
want to
method?
It was pirated. It was pirated on a laptop.
I have the entire series of Rurouni Kenshin pirated.
Yeah.
That was given to me by one of my friends in high school.
Yeah.
You had to like take the whole laptop.
Yeah, so
down?
we were just in my room watching it on his laptop. Like, we were all just huddled around watching it. And it was so cool. And so, like, I used to play the arcade games as a kid, and even as an adult, like, it would give you, like, a little license. And I had that license in my wallet forever. I don't know what ended up happening to it. So, to get cast, my first main cast lead in this show is, like, Providence.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
I remember a year ago, Corey, well, like, take one, we were at a con, and I remember listening to Corey wax on Poetic about Initial D and showing us clips and stuff. He was just so excited. Like, you could see it in his eyes how happy it made him. So obviously I dumped all over it.
Yeah, of course.
But
Because
then
we cannot show each other happiness in any kind of true way.
No. But when those auditions came through and I saw it, and I was just like, I wish I was with Corey when he opens his email. Like, to see him get so excited about it.
I screamed for 2 hours when I got the casting. Like, whenever I got the text message from my agent that said that I had been cast in that show and who I was cast at, I screamed for like 2 hours.
Because you just wanted to ruin your voice for it. You're like, I must do this.
I had just like a lot of energy that had to come out of my body one way, and it was either that direction or the other way.
Or a super chunk.
Yeah,
A thunder
Yeah.
chunk,
or a thunder chunk.
Yeah.
Several thunder chunks, and then like
Excited like the dog.
it would be more like a thunder train. Like it just.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go look at what
My head went to like Thunder Mortar, where you're just shooting them across the room.
Oh, you want me to read off the comments for you?
Just bombing them in front of me. Just.
You want me to go read
I
them?
got
Oh,
it.
okay.
phone.
Oh, we can? Okay.
We have
Yeah.
phones. We have the technology. Please, Danny, stop moving.
I'm in the middle.
You are in the middle.
Yeah, and you kick the camera.
I have big shoes on.
She has big feet.
I do have large feet. It is
Keep going.
not great for
All
my
right.
life.
Yeah, so anyways, that's how Corey's doing. How are you doing, Danielle?
I'm doing pretty good. So I just got back from, I'm TAing a class right now where I am basically going to teach level 5 in January, level 5 improv. And so I was TAing a class, and so I just got back, and it was like in a different location. So that was pretty good. But the cool thing is I got to ride my horse today, who hasn't been ridden in probably a year. I mean, maybe not quite a year, maybe it's 8 months, but he hasn't been ridden a really, really long time, and he was really good today. Corey got to get on him. He got
And sat up there and was yelled at.
Yes, I just yelled at him.
It was great.
But the horse doesn't know very much, and Corey doesn't know very much. So you
Yeah,
combine
we're both
that,
morons
like,
together.
Yes, I've always described Corey as knowing as much as a horse does.
That's not far from the truth.
So it was really cool to see
Me
you
and
on
him were both upset.
It was funny because he was on the horse. So the horse is, he's what I would call, he's broke. He's past being green broke. He's broke, but he doesn't know very much. Like, he knows how to go in a circle.
I'm also green broke.
I was going to say,
very much.
are you describing Corey or the horse? He can go in a circle, he's broke.
I'm green broke. Like, I have no money.
No, we found out in the first episode he did have money.
$700,000 in assets somewhere.
It's just
Somewhere.
the dog.
Yeah,
it
the
is
dog
only-
is $700,000 of assets.
Yeah.
His vet bills are.
Yeah.
But it was funny because you were riding him, and I was like, go in the circle. The same circle we had been lunging him in. And I see Corey start to do in the circle, and then all of a sudden, the horse and him are like, wait, we don't know how to move. And Corey's like, he won't go forward. And the horse is like, I don't know what he wants.
He was literally doing, like, I was like, I want him to go forward. And she's like yelling at me terminology to make him go forward.
What was it yelling at you?
And so I start doing the thing. I don't even know. That's the thing. I can't repeat it to you because I don't know what any of it meant.
I was like, push him forward, hands
Push him forward, hands forward, push him forward. And I'm like, I'm doing those things. Squeeze him. I'm squeezing him. And then, like, he just starts going sideways.
He
like,
did.
Like, side
Which is
step.
actually, he knows how to do, he knows how to side pass, he knows how to go sideways. And he was like, I guess I'll do this with much harder thing. He's like, I guess I'll do it.
And I'm like, I'm going the opposite direction. I want to go. Get me down. She's like, throw your leg over. My legs hurt. I can't do it.
He got on the horse. He rode around for a little while, doing his little best.
That was so patronizing. He was doing his little broke horse brain best.
And then we stopped, and he's like, and getting on the horse was kind of...
I went down.
But my tummy hurts.
You know what he said to me? It was not far from that. He said, I can't get down because we just did legs. My legs are jelly. And he said, I'm stuck here.
I hate horses.
Stuck here. And I was
This
like...
horse is stupid.
At that time, I grabbed him. I touched his leg. I was like, calm down.
She calmed me down.
Calm down.
She calmed me down like a horse. She goes, shh, 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 shh.
She fed you a carrot.
He's like, shh, shh. And I was like, you can get down. It's okay. And for a half a second, I thought, oh no, he's stuck.
And I'm just like, there was something spooky in the bush. So I kicked her in the face.
No, it's weird because I was on the ground. You know? It's
Yes,
crazy.
I kicked her in the face.
Holy crap, that's so funny.
So we got him off,
Yeah.
but that was fun today.
Then I went and did something I was good at, which is whips.
Yeah, he's very good at whips.
Yeah. Yeah, I walked into your house today, and the first thing he did was grab the whip. And, like,
And whip
look,
you?
I asked him to. He politely declined.
Okay.
He's like, "Look what Daddy's dad got for me."
Yeah, I hit him with it.
Yeah. It wasn't like whipped. It was just like with the handle. He just like smacked me.
The hard end.
Okay, so
How was your week?
Yeah, how are you, Christian? What
I
are you
always
up
forget.
to?
I forget that I exist sometimes.
Me too.
Whoa!
Just phase out.
How was my week? I don't know. It was good. It was fine. I did some coaching with some
Like voiceover coaching?
yes.
Oh, awesome.
So like I was learning. So we met Lex Lang in Houston.
Yes, he was very nice. Him and
Very nice.
his wife Sandy.
Sandy, yeah.
Was super nice.
So I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, like, do you do coaching?" He said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so actually just yesterday before our show, I had my first coaching session with him. And it was really fun. Like I like Lex a lot. So if you guys are like a fan of Lex Lang, good. Like continue to do that because he's great. He's
Continue to like him.
Continue to like him.
We fully endorse you thinking he's a person.
No, well, obviously he's a person.
Great.
But no, like so. And here's the sweetest part. It actually made me feel really warm because I've only met them once. Actually, when I first reached out to him, he was like, "Oh, hey, you're the guy that we talked with in Houston, and you
Yep.
were at Acon." And I was like, "How?" I didn't
Yeah.
ask him that. I was like, "How did you know I was at Acon?" I never talked to you at Acon. There's like 40 voice actors.
Yeah,
there.
he was at Acon.
He
I
was,
remember.
yeah.
And I did not speak to him at
No,
Acon.
not at all. But he somehow knew it, and it was really sweet. But then when we're in the session, he's like, "Oh, hey, my wife Sandy made me promise to tell you that she says hello." And I was like, "That's so sweet." Like talk to you guys for like a little bit over that weekend, and I don't know, it was just really nice.
I love that.
But you enjoyed your coaching session?
Yeah, I did. He was very complimentary, but also like not in like it was a very sincere way, but he was also like pushing me to get better, which is exactly what I want.
That's good.
And so yeah, I'm gonna do more coaching with him in the future for sure.
I feel like finding a good coach and good acting coach, just in whatever you do, whether that's improv or voice acting or on camera, it's almost like finding a therapist in the sense of not that you're doing therapy with them, but you want them, whatever their style, to kind of mesh with how you want to receive it, and you really have to find what works for you. Like some people were like, they really want direct coaching, and they want consistent direct coaching, not just direct one time, but they want it every time.
I think it goes even farther than that, which is that like sometimes like you can have 5 coaches that all do direct coaching.
Yes.
But they have to speak in a way that like for some reason clicks with your brain.
You can understand.
Because like I've had coaches, and I've had a lot of fantastic coaches that would say things to me, and for some reason like I understood intellectually what they were saying, but it just wasn't clicking in. And then like I had Steve Anderson, everything he says just was like,
And I think that we have very different learning styles. I wouldn't say very different. We have different learning styles, which have some intersection.
You're a broke green horse.
Yes.
I am a mountain lion.
I don't know what you're meaning right now, but okay. But I'm a
thunder chunk, and you are
I am such a thunder chunk, and you're green broke.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clip that out just so you know.
I'm a thunder chunk.
But I also...
You better not. You better supercut it. Where it's just, I'm a thunder chunk. I'm a thunder... dun, dun, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da,
Get some
thunder chunk. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, thunder chunk.
This is what I have to deal with. This is what I chose.
Yeah.
I'm clearly a sadomasochist?
I am very obviously a marshmallow. I am very obviously a piece of Play-Doh kissed.
I was going to say before I was interrupted by, I am a thunder chunk. I am a thunder chunk. I am...
No, you just saved me so much work.
That sounds nothing like what I did.
Before I was interrupted, I was going to say that I also really like Steve Anderson's way of coaching, and it has clicked for me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you can click with different coaches, and you don't know until you try a bunch of different coaches.
Well, no. So also recently in August, I did coaching session with Michael Schneider. And I'm doing another one with him actually tomorrow. I liked him a lot. We vibed on an anxious level, which I appreciate.
Who is Michael? I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, it's okay.
The name off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, he directs dubs in LA. So like he did the most recent Black Clover movie with Netflix.
Oh, nice.
He directed that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And
That's
like
amazing.
other stuff like that, yeah. But he was just posting on Twitter like, hey, I'm opening for coaching. I was like, hey, I've never worked with him before. Let's do it. And we vibed immediately. And so it's like he doesn't like have consistent openings. It's just whenever he has time. So
Yeah.
I like to jump in when I can afford it, obviously, because I'm also a broke horse.
Broke green horse.
You're broke, not green horse.
Okay, yeah, I'm a broke brown horse.
Yeah. He has thunder chunks too.
Yeah, they're bad. Okay, so this is the segment in which we all have previously prepared a prompt. We haven't shared it with each other.
Totally done that.
Danny will be going last.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'll be going second.
Great. So for my prompt for you guys, my question is this. Is there something that you both love and hate in equal measure, but you still love it, like, even though you have nothing but bad things to say about it?
Nothing but bad things to say about it? Oh.
No, yeah. So, like, for me, that's Star Wars. Whenever I talk about, like, I love Star Wars. I've always loved Star Wars. But if I get into a conversation that lasts longer than, like, a couple minutes, I just kind of dog on it. Because there's a lot of things that, like, I don't love about, that I don't like about Star Wars. But still, I will be a Star Wars fan for the rest of my life. Unless they really, really ruin it for me personally. But I still have the Star Wars from my childhood. Like, they can't take that away from me. Even though there's even things about that I don't care for.
Mm-hmm.
I would say almost everything I'm into.
Oh, yeah?
Because a lot of times, for me, like, what I'm into also turns into my job. So then I it pollutes the relationship I have with it.
Sure.
But the top three, first of all, improv and acting. Like, I will go into a vicious rage if I have to talk about improv or acting anymore. Like, it's because actors love, for the love of God, love to just talk about acting, and it's just,
on set they love to do this.
On set, it's the whole
You're
time.
you're doing the job, and then you're talking about doing the job other times.
It makes me want to just jump into a river with a gun.
I have a hot take.
What?
I think that you obviously you enjoy acting. You do it. It's like your whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're very good at it. I also think though it's the people that you don't care for talking about acting rather than talk about acting. 'Cause I've heard you talk very passionately.
Yeah, but it's
about
very
it
rare
with people.
because I have. But it's very rare.
Like you and Charlie have some amazing improv, and you and Roger have some really good.
Every once in a while, I'll come across like a conversation that's fulfilling, but a lot of times, it depends on what the intention is behind it. A lot of times, whenever actors are talking acting with other actors, it's just a subtextual pissing contest.
To raise their own status.
To raise their own status. And I don't care for that. If you want to wax intellectually about acting and it's just like an in-depth conversation, then yeah, I'm more into that. But those are very rare. I would say like 1 out of 50 conversations is not a pissing contest of like, look at all the acting I'm doing. It's just it's just obnoxious.
Right.
And or they're trying to get something. They're like talking about acting with you just long enough that they can be like, "Can you get me into Crunchyroll?"
Oh, I do have a question for you.
What?
Can you get me into Crunchyroll?
No, I can't.
Can you get me back? And I was in there
No.
earlier this week, but I really
I
feel
can't.
like I need to go
But
back. Can you
I
get me
would
back?
say the more less my job answer is funny enough, Initial D.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I used to make fun of Initial D so much.
But you
'cause
love it so much.
I love it. It's amazing, but there are definitely some hilarious things about it.
Yeah.
Such as in the original show, it takes place in the 90s.
Okay.
And like they're downhill like street racing and they're drifting and they're commenting on it the whole time, even though there's no way in hell they can see it. Like,
oh yeah.
the entire time they're like, "Did you see him do that thing with his foot?" First of all, how did you see the car in the first place? You're miles away in hilly country in Akina. There's no way you're going to see the cars to the tree line. It's night. It's the dead of night. You can see 2 headlights, maybe. Secondly, how are you seeing inside the car? You're not. That's impossible. And then they're doing this cell phone era, so they're all communicating with like radios, like they're doing like this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Like a walkie-talkie?
Yeah, like walkie-talkie, and it's wild, and they're all just it's so early Dragon Ball Z because it's just like it's just every reaction's ridiculous.
Yeah. No. So like.
Are you ready to join us? Okay.
Oh, he's been trying all evening.
All evening.
So I had a very similar thing. I was watching Star Wars Visions, which is like the anime take on Star Wars universe. And they have this one where it's these 2 twins. It's the most anime thing ever. They have these 2 twins and these Star Destroyers that are connected in the middle by a reactor. And one twin ends up being like dark side, the other one's light side. And the light side one basically betrays. And so they're like, oh, the kyber crystal's missing from the core reactor. The only one who has access is you and your twin. And so she's, like I said, in one Star Destroyer, she looks over, you see the other Star Destroyer, and she says, oh, he's not there. And then the camera zooms in like 1,000 times so that we can see he's not in his seat. It's like, if you had to zoom in for us to see, there's no way she saw that.
She knows by twinness.
Yeah.
She knows by force.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Force awareness.
she had to look.
Yeah.
So for me, that was very much, she used her eyeballs.
She used her. What do your elven eyes see?
What do your elven eyes see,
Everything
Thunderchunk?
with the foot.
Thunderchunk. My elven name, Thunderchunks.
Yes.
Darth Thunderchunk.
Thunder.
Dark Thunder. That's stage 4 D&D.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's when you stop taking. Like I am a sentient piece of bread named Thunderchunk.
I am named Loaf. I'm gluten.
All right, Danny, what's the thing that you love and hate, but will love it still?
Okay, when you first said that, I was thinking of just all of my hobbies because things that I love to do also give me anxiety because I love to do them.
Well, I get that. I'm that way with acting, yeah.
But but when you kind of expanded on this fandom thing, I just watched Lockwood and Co. I just watched Lockwood and Co. on Netflix, and It has only had one season. It has been canceled. It is not. I knew this going into it. Like, I just watched it.
I can't. If I know a show's been canceled, I won't start
That's
it.
why I haven't finished Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
I finished it. It was actually not terrible. I never thought it was. But I was watching it, and it's about these ghost hunters, essentially. There has been a big thing that's happened in the world, and now that children have to ghost hunt because they have talent and ability to be able to find a ghost.
Oh, no. I watched a preview for that. I will actually look up shows to see if they're canceled or not.
Yeah.
I watched a preview. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Is it a thing? They're like, no, it's not a thing. I was like, no, just take it off Netflix.
Just take it.
Just get it out.
You didn't want it for second season.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
So I watched it while Corey was gone on his shoot, and okay, please don't lick my face. And then
Sorry.
I really liked the show.
For the audio listeners who don't know there's a dog.
I really liked it, but I can understand why it's canceled.
Yeah.
It's not because I think it's a bad show.
Because it's racist.
Yeah, it's British. That's clear. I can understand why it got canceled because it was a really fun show, fun premise. There's books that go behind it, so there are more books to cover, and the acting was so good in it. It was very British, and I mean very British as it reminded me of Sherlock, but for
I
spooky
really like
Sherlock. The thing of why I think why it got canceled and why it had lower viewership is it took a little while to get into it. Like, it took multiple episodes, which on Netflix, it's got to be good from the very first episode. There are so many things to watch. It has to be. And then also, I feel when I was watching, I was like, oh, it felt like the writing wasn't as tight as it needed to be. And there was a lot of things about it, which I can say I liked the show, and I want to read the books now after watching it. But I can still be critical of it. I can still be like, oh, I hate that in the show, all the adults lose their ability and they don't have anyone that doesn't. So lose their ability to see ghosts. I think that really takes a large part of their audience out. Because when you are watching a show, you want to be able to superimpose yourself. Even if, okay, say you're like, I'm in my 30s. In the show, my character, I would have clearly lost my ability. But even superimposing, I can be like, oh, okay, I can put myself back in my teenage years or whatever it is. But they're still cutting a large part, because apparently people lose their ability at like 20. Like, there's just a large part of the population that's going to be harder for them to superimpose themselves into this show. And I'm like, even if they wanted to keep that in there, I feel like there were still other ways to... Every adult in that show was really boring and a terrible person. And I'm like, oh, or a villain. I'm like, they need some adults in the show. If you want to keep that as like a thing in the canon, like in the universe, that's fine. You still have to make adults that are fun to like be in the show. Like one or two of them. I was like, why does every adult suck in this show?
Or take the enemy route and make all of the main characters look like adults even though they're 15.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how shows were, up until kind of recently.
But it's on Netflix, and the demographic of Netflix is not Netflix isn't for, I would say, 13 and under. Possibly they have Netflix, but they're not watching their main shows on Netflix. I feel like they're watching YouTube, TikTok, a lot of other places, and 20s and up is on Netflix. And that's the people that are buying and paying for Netflix. I'm like, well, of course that show wouldn't do well on that platform. And I'm like, it doesn't, I'm not a marketing genius to know this was a terrible idea. And the fact that it failed for a season 2 and didn't get renewed, I'm like, well, yeah, because we didn't really do the homework here. We just kind of were like putting it out there. I'm like, obviously. We needed cooler characters in there in like writing. And I can still say I really like the show. I really liked all the acting, and I want to read the books now, but I can still be critical of it.
No, 100%. I will drive people insane how I watch shows. I think I talked about this before on the podcast.
Oh yeah, how do you watch shows? I'm not sure.
I pause a lot. Because when I will watch, pause, and then I'll make comments and kind of break things down that I find interesting. And I like to critically discuss media. I find it very, very fun and interesting.
I will say that like I had a director that had a really like interesting stance as far as like I kind of stand by. I think we've talked about it on previous episodes where I think that like though there still is like we still need to instill in a new generation the ability to just like something.
Yeah.
Like you can participate with something without being critical of it. Like
I know you can.
Like, there are things that obviously need to be criticized, like fandoms that I have, like the Halo series. Halo series sucked, and it sucked for like because they did not know the source material, and they did not honor the source material. But like, there are other things like
the dog is looking at you like you were just saying. He's raptured right now.
And so, but there's other things that like just let it be what it is. Just let it, enjoy it. Enjoy what it is.
I know, I get that. When I say being critical, I don't necessarily mean dogging on it. I like to also too. I love fiction. Like fiction is, I've loved it always, and so I really like to discuss like what's happening, what has happened, and then postulate what might happen.
My favorite thing is theorizing. Like taking the things that exist and making theories based off of what exists.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm like taking like deep dives, and sometimes my critical is just like, oh, this doesn't make sense, or I don't really like this. I remember when Kayla Parker, another Take One member, introduced me to Magnus Archives podcast. I didn't like it at first. I was like, nah, this doesn't make sense. This is blah. And she was just like, dude, you just need to wait. Like all of the quote unquote complaints I had, they do get explained. It's not just like there's a reason for things, and she was right. And it's still
amazingly well thought out.
Yes.
And it pays off.
It's written by one guy.
And it's written by written by one guy who had a plan from the beginning.
Yeah, he talks about it.
It is written by Johnny Sims. Did you guys listen to the like Q&As and stuff like that?
I haven't listened to every single one, but I did, and that's how I know that he wrote it.
Right.
I thought it was written by multiple people.
No. Well, he's the main writer, but him and Alex do. So Alex is like the lead director of the show. They do like plan meetings and stuff like that.
Yes.
And so a lot of the decisions were done by Alex and Johnny in conjunction. But the actual like final scripts, are all done by Johnny.
And he had a plan going in.
He did. After the first season, he was like, I think he even said, I know how it's going to end. I just don't know every single string. I want to be surprised.
Yes.
I want to leave room for...
I did love that, like, he's like, a lot of the methodology for the middle part of the story was this plus spooky.
Yeah.
Like, how do I make this thing but spooky?
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the best well done series in
the best well done series.
Best well done chunks.
Yeah, the best well done.
That's the best Thunder chunk I've ever had.
Yeah, me too.
I just have some amazing, like, I only have great things to say about Magnus, and if you love spooky stuff this month, you should listen to that podcast.
Oh, I should finish. I haven't got to finish it yet.
Oh, really? So like, Kayla hasn't finished it either.
Yeah,
I haven't finished it yet.
in the end. I'm in the end game. Like, I'm like the thing has happened.
Yeah.
The thing has happened, and I'm I think midway through the journey of through the thing.
So it's 200 episodes total.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm halfway. I'm at the 50. I'm at like 100 something.
Okay.
I'm in the final.
Yeah.
Go. Like they are about to the archive.
Right. No, because I'll take breaks. I took breaks from it because like it would just get to be too much. I need something lighthearted. But then I'll go through these phases where I'll like slam through 100 episodes in a week.
I love the genius of how he wrote the end in the sense that he mixes how dark it really is with some brevity. Like he really has a good understanding of what his audience needs.
Yeah.
Because man, if it just went straight for the tone it has the whole time, we'd be exhausted.
Yeah, no, he talks about that. He's like, when I wrote these, I have to think about the people who are listening week to week, but also the people who are binging.
Oh.
So he'll have episodes.
So smart.
Yeah, so he'll have episodes that are of a lighter tone.
Yeah.
And he's like, the people who are waiting week to week, they don't need that break necessarily.
But the binge people do.
But the binge people do.
He's thinking of it both like an episodic and like a movie.
Right.
He is playing three-dimensional chess.
Yeah. And like that's
he better be a showrunner on some stuff.
Well, he's now.
No, I hope he stays where he's at, because the thing is, I find that because remember Joss Whedon was our like Lord and Savior forever, and then he became the villain.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get polluted.
Well, so he has gone into writing. He got a big book deal out of the Magnus Archives.
Oh, so he's writing books.
So right now he's an author for novels and
Is he going to do the George R. R. Martin route? So Martin obviously was a book writer first, and then he became a screenplay writer, and then he became a showrunner, kind of like, then I think he started directing after that. Like he had a whole like basically like timeline.
Yeah. I don't know. I know the last thing I heard, he just said that he kind of is doing whatever he feels like, whatever makes him happy.
Is that what rich people say?
I suppose so. But I got, though, a lot of the planning for, like the media of podcasts, a lot of that also came from Alex, the director. So he has like a degree in media broadcast and stuff like that.
Does Alex play Martin on it?
Yes.
I love Martin.
I
on
do
that
too.
show. He's very fun.
Yeah.
This
I like
episode's going to be like 3 hours long.
That's
What's
true.
wrong?
I do apologize. Okay, cool.
No, I think we need to move. We've only done
yeah,
one.
we have done
Are
one.
we gonna read any of the comments?
No, I've been reading them.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
great. So, Corey, you said you wanted to go second. What's your
Yes, mine is due to the fact that I have recently debuted in a car-based anime. I have two questions. What is your dream vehicle that you would just love to have?
Because who's buying it?
And what either IP, anime, or otherwise has inadvertently negatively affected your life in some way?
It's a two-parter?
So my example is, I'll answer both questions.
Please.
My first question is, like, what is your favorite vehicle? Easy. 1970s matte black Dodge Challenger. Resto modded to be more modern, so I have all the modern comforts and all of that nice American muscle look, but with none of the 3 miles to the gallon nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's my dream car. The second question is that when I started recording for MF Ghost, I told the director, I was like, yeah, I've basically paid $3,000 for the soundtrack to Initial D. And he's like, what? And I was like, because I got so many speeding tickets listening to the Initial D soundtrack while I was driving. Because what would happen is I'd start playing Space Boy. Gotta catch him, the Space Boy. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then start doing 140 miles an hour. So, yeah.
Initial D is gonna ruin us.
Yep.
Look, I'm hoping there are more benefits that come out of it. You know.
But I got so many speeding tickets listening to the Initial D soundtrack.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny. You and I have a very similar taste in cars. Mm-hmm. I'm not a car person. I'm a horse. No, I don't know.
I'm a green broke horse.
Yeah, I don't know much about cars.
Named Thunderclops.
Thunderclops, yeah.
Thunderplops.
But I really do like muscle cars and like having all the modern conveniences. So I'm very similar in that. I really, really, really like the car from Burn Notice. I don't know if you guys ever watched Burn Notice.
I have. It's an amazing movie. It's very good.
Well, so the show. There was a show on
Oh,
USA.
yes, the one. I was thinking Burn Before Reading. But yes,
Right.
Burn Notice, I do remember as well. The Spy.
Yes, The Spy. I really like that
It was
show.
on. What was that? What channel was that on?
USA.
Yes,
Yeah.
USA.
It's one of those ones where I'm kind of embarrassed that I liked it, but I really did.
It's so campy and fun.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And he drove an old Dodge Charger.
Oh,
It was like black outside, white interior.
Have you ever actually seen a Charger in person, though?
Not the old ones, no.
So, fun fact, I used to love Chargers. It was my I saw the one in the Fast and Furious, and I was like, that is the coolest car I've ever seen. And I saw one in person, and it changed my opinion of them.
Why?
Because they're so goofy looking big.
Oh,
like,
really?
they are massive. That is a boat that has grown wheels and rolled onto the street. Like, it is huge. Like, it is
Bigger than your Challenger?
Oh my gosh, by a landslide. They're just so long. Like,
I need to look this up and see it.
They're wild. I saw one in person. I was like, that's why I like the Challengers now. Like, why I went to the 1970 Challenger, because it's the size of like an old Mustang, but the look of a Charger. Because, man, when I saw a Charger in person, I was like, that is a goofy looking car.
Interesting.
It's so big. It's because, like, on camera it looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.
On camera it looks amazing. Like the one in Burn Notice, I actually know the car you're talking about now. The one in all the ones in the Fast and Furious, they've had so many Chargers in the Fast and Furious. They look amazing until you see them in person. And what's great is that you're seeing them next to a large human being.
Right.
Vin Diesel?
Yeah, like Vin Diesel's a big guy.
Yeah.
And so a Charger next to Vin Diesel is like, oh, that looks like a normal sized car, but then you see it in person, you're like, that's a boat.
Yeah.
that's just a boat.
My brother, when I was a preteen, he drove a '67 Chevy Bel Air.
Yeah.
And that's like a car you could have like a full, like you could take like a whole classroom of kids to prom in the back seat.
Yeah.
And they'd still have room to like bring their parents. You know, like it's a big old boat of a car. And then a fandom that has negatively impacted me would probably have to be.
I always say, and it can be very loosely negative. Like I watched One Punch Man and then started punching my friends.
So for me, it was, I don't know what came first, if it was Ninja Turtles or like the Three Ninjas or Batman, but like ninjas in general in media. It got me into martial arts, which like I have a second degree black belt, adore martial arts, but I also hurt myself a lot doing martial arts. Like I remember I almost broke my elbow once because I saw in some sort of martial art movie a dude did a cartwheel using the staff instead of his hands. I was oh, I'm really good at cartwheels.
Yeah, I can do this.
Let's do it.
One-handed.
I did it two hands, but it was also lightly raining, or it had rained, and so my staff was wet, and I did it. I slipped, hyperextended my elbow, and I went inside. I was embarrassed. Didn't tell my mom. She's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Oh, I'm doing great." She's like, "Why are you so pale?" "I'm always pale. Gotta go." I've been putting casts. I've been on crutches. Like I got hurt a lot doing martial arts, but
Gambit caused me to throw cards at my siblings.
more negatively impacted them.
Yeah, that negatively impacted them.
Yeah.
I think that's as close as I can really get.
Oh, I think also Pokemon negatively. In fact, because I would throw baseballs
At animals?
at people.
No, people.
Why'd you want to catch people?
Because the animals didn't ask for it.
Toshi looked at you like, right? Why did he do that?
Why did he do
I
that?
wanted to capture a Toshi and use it in battle. Well, you, Danny.
Keep them battle anything. Okay, so my favorite car is a classic car.
Man, we were 3 for 3 in the muscles.
Yeah, we are. My stepdad actually he is a car.
Optimus Prime.
I don't know why you guys are on me tonight. Because you guys thunder chunk.
Because we were making fun of each other before you got
Yeah,
here.
Oh,
you showed up late. That's what happened.
This is what happened. Okay. I get
You show up
hazed during
late, you
the
get
podcast.
hazed. That's how this goes.
So my stepdad restores old Mustangs, old Camaros, pretty much old cars. And I grew up going to car shows. And so he would always enter his, he actually knew Carol Shelby. And he actually had he had lunch with one of Carol Shelby's grandsons the other day. He said he was really nice and he was doing really well. But my favorite car is one I saw at the car show. It was a 1969 Mustang Boss 402. And it's in grabber blue. And it's my absolute favorite old muscle car. If I could have any one, I would have it. I will probably get just a black, 1969 fastback Mustang. That's what I think I would want now, because I'd be like, oh, that's a nice car to have. The Boss cars.
It's not so expensive that you wouldn't want to drive it.
The Boss ones are very expensive now. You don't want to drive them.
Extremely.
You can't even take them to the, my stepdad had a Mach, I think he had a, what is it, the Mach 1?
Mm-hmm, Mach 1.
Yeah, the Mach 1, and he would just take it to Kroger or Tom Thumb or wherever, but now he's they're so expensive you can't take them anywhere. Mm-hmm. And he sold that when he has other cars, but that's the car that I would want.
He still has a Mach
for
1,
sure.
doesn't he?
No, he doesn't have a Mach 1.
What is the red one?
It's a GT.
I thought it had some other...
It's a Shelby.
Oh, it's a Shelby GT.
Yeah, it's a Shelby GT.
Okay.
So they had he can't take that. He can't take it to the grocery store anymore and just go inside and get something and come back. Nope.
But a mean car though.
I drive a car. I don't really.
You drive a vehicle. That's
no,
good.
I do. But the car I have, my mom wanted to give it to me. We gave her $100 for my car, and it's not great. So it's one of those things oh yeah, your dream car is oh yeah, I drive a car that barely works. But yeah, there you go. So anyways, negatively impacted by a thing.
I've been a car guy for a lot. All of my cars since my first car have been picked out within reasonable I could afford them, but also they were my first car after my very first car, which is it was a piece of trash Ford F-150 that my dad had used as a work vehicle.
Yeah.
And it was 5 different shades of black, had 2 gas tanks. This is back in the gas when gas was cheap.
Right.
And it was still $80 to $100 to fill up.
Yeah.
Because it had 2 tanks. It had 2 tanks to fill, and it would just eat gas. My car after that was a 99 Eclipse GSX, Wrecked that 12 days after I bought it. And then I had an 01 Eclipse GT, and then I had a Honda Civic, and then I had at the TC, and now I have a Challenger.
Have you ever? So what was the car that you wrecked 12 days after you bought it?
The GSX.
Have you ever driven a GSX since then?
No, because they're rare, and they're like $60,000 cars now.
Really?
Yeah, because they're extremely. First of all, they're iconic. Like Fast and Furious drove up the price of all of the '99 Eclipse era Eclipses.
But if you watch Fast and Furious now, I don't know. We think they're going to be such cool cars, but they're not all that cool in the first movies.
They were amazing cars, actually, in the first movies. Like,
the movies drove the price of those cars up. They weren't like super expensive cars.
They weren't super expensive at the time, but they were still amazing pieces of machinery. Like one of the iconic cars that didn't really get a whole lot of praise in the Fast and Furious, but like, and what's funny, Fast and Furious and Initial D drove up the price of this car, which is the RX-7, which on paper is actually kind of a hard car to work on because it's a rotary. Like there was a short-lived idea of a rotary engine, and that was one of them. And it was an amazing vehicle, other than the fact that it was a rotary engine. But they're super expensive. Like they're like $80,000 cars at this point. I don't really know what the blue book. It might be $60,000.
Everyone loves Fast and the Furious. I always liked Gone in 60 Seconds. That's my like car movie.
Nicolas Cage.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
I've
I like
actually
that one.
seen Gone in 60 Seconds. The only Fast and Furious I've seen is Tokyo Drift. And that's like the worst one.
I went and saw that one in theaters by myself.
Oh,
I had my mom drive me and then drop me off.
I watched it with my brother-in-law on HBO once. Like, that's it.
It wasn't worth going to the theater for.
Oh, no.
I was just there alone
Yeah.
in high school.
That's
He
really
just
sad.
groaned when you leaned on him.
Yeah.
He goes, "What?"
Listen, buddy.
Yeah, they're going for like 40 to 60,000. That's a 94. That is an old car, like a 94 that's going for
That's
40 to 60,000.
wild to me. A 90s car.
Yeah.
I drove in high school a 2001 Ford Contour. Super nice car. And now I drive an 07 or 08 Grand Am.
You're cool on the road.
Oh yeah, bro.
Living that actor dream.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's that actor, that anime money. All right, so negatively impacted. Yeah.
My original fandom is vampires.
Wow. You know what? How much that car... Sorry, before we move on.
Okay.
You know how much that car cost now, the one I had?
How much? 20,000?
20,000.
Oh wow! Look at this thing. This looks like a woman would drive it.
It's tiny. I will say it's barely bigger
Are they
than
all convertibles?
No, that's...
Okay, I think that's why.
I love that you... That was good. I love that a lot. Okay, Corey.
So my original fandom is vampires, and has negatively affected me because I dated a lot of bad boys growing up. I mean, when they would date me, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really terrible for my self-esteem and for my dating life.
I get it.
It was terrible. So that's, that pretty much negatively. It like set up, that fandom's like, oh yes, he's just dark and mysterious, but like he has nice things about him.
So my ideal version of myself is that dark, mysterious, doesn't really talk. Like, so in D&D, I'll make those characters. I make like rogues who are like, like Aragorn. The first time you see him in Lord of the Rings in the Prancing Pony, he's just in the dark, hood down, smoking. Like, I love that. But in D&D, the moment I open my mouth, it's just...
Hey, guys!
Like, hi, guys! I'm a rogue! Let's go save some hobbits! Like, I can't help myself. I can never be that dark and mysterious guy. I want it so bad. I want to be Batman, but, like, I'm, like, who's the biggest weirdo?
Corey has the same thing. He's like, I want to be dark. I want to like say few words. I want to be dark and mysterious. He's like,
yeah, because it's so opposite of what I actually am, which is that I talk too much and I say everything that pops in my stupid little, like, ridiculous brain.
I think he'd be a really good Riddler, like, as far as the Batman universe
Yeah,
goes.
but I despeatly want to be Batman.
I get it. I want to be Batman too.
I'm an orphan.
Or Nightwing. I think I'd be a good Nightwing. I would want to be Nightwing or Red Hood.
I was literally gonna say
Red Hood. I want to be Red Hood.
Red?
Red Hood is the one Robin that died, and he came back as a villain, and now he's a good guy again.
Yeah, but he's an anti-hero because he's willing to kill people.
Yeah, he uses the boom boom gang.
I mean, so many heroes do kill people.
Mm-hmm.
So many heroes kill people. Like, we just
Yeah,
don't
but
talk
Batman's
about it.
whole the thing is like in the Batman universe, he's particularly bad because he was trained and raised by Batman, and the core tenet of Batman is that he doesn't use guns.
Yep.
And now he just gex blasts people down.
Okay.
One thing I love, so the character's name is Jason Todd, and do you know much about the Batman universe? It's okay if you don't.
I watched Batman Beyond.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's
the,
good.
That's the only
I like
one
Batman
I
Beyond.
watched.
I like that. So in the 80s, DC in the comics they had a vote. So Jason Todd, who was Robin at the time, was kidnapped by the Joker, and DC held a vote. Hey, what do you think should happen to Jason Todd? Basically, should he live or die? And the fandom voted for him to die. So they killed him off, and he was one of the only characters in comics. There's a joke. There's two people who will die and never come back. One's Uncle Ben for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Other one was Jason Todd. Jason Todd's obviously come back since then, but I do kind of love it. Oh, we hate him. Just kill him.
We can kill him.
Yeah.
Batman
I
won't
think
kill him,
it's a
but we
little-
will.
Yeah.
I think it was a little less that and more let's see if they'll actually kill him.
Maybe.
And then they did. Because if there's anything we've learned from the internet and the advent of the internet is that if there's an option to kill a character, the internet's gonna go for it.
That's true.
It does not matter how much they love that character. It does not matter how much that character is beloved. If the internet is just a D&D murder hobo.
Yeah, that's fair.
If there is an option to mercilessly murk them,
Yeah.
they're gonna take it.
That's fair.
And so that was just the predecessor to what the internet became.
Yeah.
Which is that
A mail-in poll.
yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, no. Especially nerds. Nerds aren't all altruism until they actually are behind closed doors and they're like, ha ha ha, kill him.
Kill him dead.
Kill him dead.
That's so funny. All right, Danny.
I think the dog farted.
That was me. Did you think of a prompt, Danny?
Oh, yes, I did.
Perfect.
So I was going to TA a class, and we had to go to a different place because there's a 48-hour improv festival happening at Stomping Ground.
Lame.
So they can't do class there. And we did it in a weird office building, and I had to park in a parking garage and go up this creepy elevator. And I got in this, so as I was I punched the button and the elevator came down and I was gonna jump on, and this gentleman who was I don't know, he had tattoos and he had clearly been working on, he kind of looked like a Viking. He gets off the elevator. I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry, sir. I was in your way. And I'm like, oh, this elevator, I get in the elevator. I'm like, oh, this elevator's creepy. It's kind of weird. And then I hear, it closes. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's why he got off so fast. He was scared too.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay. I press the button and I'm going up, and then I'm like, okay, this elevator's fine. This is fine. It's just a little older, but it's fine. Here, and it's shaking, vibrating back and forth. And then it goes up. I'm only going up to level 2. We get up there, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it. And it goes, cocoon, cocoon. And a second one opens the door, and then it moves again, and I jump off. And I was like, elevators are so weird, especially creepy elevators.
Yeah.
That elevator was haunted. Where is
So
places?
that's a great prompt.
where haunted.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
Where are haunted places that you don't you wouldn't you're not oh, this is a cemetery, oh, this is a haunted house, oh, this is a place where a murder happened, but just places that you go to and you're like, this place feels weird, it has weird energy. For mine, is that elevator.
I'm gonna answer the question I want to answer.
When don't you do that?
Where is a place that should be haunted? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And oh man.
My thunder chunks.
I have an answer for that question. That hotel we stay at in Lubbock for Anime Lubbock, it's that one that looks like it should be in The Shining. It's that hotel that was built in the 70s, hasn't been touched.
There is a murder that happened there, though.
It's a murder hotel.
Yeah.
That place is spooky. At night, going back to the room after, and it's just dead quiet.
Wasn't it Landon McDonald?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pulled that amazing prank on us, sort of. It was sort of, because he also believes it too. So Landon McDonald is a paranormal enthusiast, and he's a fantastic voice actor. Mm-hmm. And he decided that he specifically requested the room that a murder had taken place in. Yeah. Specifically requested it. And then before he was going to invite us all to come see the room. Before he let us in, he turned his AC super down. Earlier in the day.
As far
down as it could go. So that everybody that was slightly, into the spooky stuff would immediately feel a cold spot. And I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It is so
Brilliant.
so
It was
good.
considerably colder in the room.
Yeah.
So I went to Texas Tech and I stayed on. I lived in a dorm that was just across the street, literally across the street from the hotel. I could see the hotel, and there were multiple stabbings and stuff that would happen at that hotel. So when I found out that,
And so you got away. That's good.
yeah, I did. When I found out that con was happening at that hotel specifically, I was like, oh, that's the hotel that we weren't really supposed to go to.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's too bad they didn't have like Kauai there.
Yeah.
Right.
I just figured out a
Kauai.
place that should be haunted. 100% it should be
Where?
haunted. Salvage yards.
Cars are haunting them.
Old robots.
How many people die in vehicle accidents? How many? And so they take the carcass of that vehicle somewhere. So salvage yards should be super haunted.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Like how many people get hit by cars that total out the
True.
car? How many people die in the car that gets totaled out? Salvage yards should be super haunted.
Yeah, there's not really any like horror movies that even come close to a salvage yard, except like when they're running and hiding. From,
Yeah, they
from
always
the
end up
killer.
near a salvage yard.
And it's usually the guy that owns the place is the villain of it, or like the murderer's chief.
And they have to, like,
But
do
like,
it-
I think
Yeah.
there's something to be said. Like the most haunted place in modern society should be a salvage yard.
I mean,
Yeah.
I figured it'd be the internet, but
Nobody dies on the internet.
lots of people die on the internet.
They die in their house with consuming the internet. That's like saying like
Consuming.
this apple's haunted because he choked on it. Like no, that's not. They inhabit the space that they.
Okay.
And cars are like moving parts. Like so, the thing is like in paranormal lore,
Okay.
you die wherever you died. If you have a strong connection to that place, like
Is where you haunt.
that's where you haunt, right?
Generally, but I'll say some it's like, oh, you would haunt where you
Where you
lived or
died,
where you
but
grew
also
up.
like where like if you had a massive emotional thing while you were there. Cars are like where we spend most of our time in modern
are.
society, so they're inundated with our emotions, and road rage is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're conduits of our personal emotions. They are almost as much a part of our personality as anything. Why are they not?
We
haunted?
need a salvage yard horror movie.
Yep.
All right.
How many episodes is MF Ghost for this season?
I have no idea.
No. So we're gonna have at least 3 months of car-themed podcast episodes. I
Yeah,
think.
we will.
No.
No.
No. Stop
Are we gonna
it.
do one in the car?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to on
Yeah.
the way from a con at some point.
Yeah, probably.
It's just gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Not
gonna be
next Sunday.
Eurobeats.
Not next
Yeah.
Sunday, but the Sunday after.
2
We're gonna
weekends.
do it
Yeah.
from Cottonwood.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the plan.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So
Question time.
questions. I have a very specific question.
And lengthy question at that.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
It's
It is specific and it's lengthy.
yeah.
It
Well,
has girth.
it.
Oh my God, Danny. Oh my
Well,
God.
you tell me. So this is from Chris Smith, former member of Take One.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember Chris.
Yeah.
Good-haired Chris.
Yeah, girthy Chris,
Chris
we call
with
him.
Chris
Chris
with
with
the
the
good hair.
Yeah. So his question, he also answers his own question, which is nice. For him, good for you. So he asks, who was a memorable hero for you? Someone you thought at the time, they've got it all figured out. They're who I want to be. For him, it's his dad's cousin, Uncle Chuck. He was built like a silverback, never seemed to wear anything other than flip-flops and tank tops, so pantless. Old Donald Duck Chuck, they called him.
Donald Duck and Chuckin'.
Yeah. Regularly got into bar brawls. Undefeated last that he heard.
Does this have to be someone that we have personally met, or is this like a tangent?
It sounds like it has to be because the answer
does.
he's giving is like somebody that he looked up to.
someone we
as-
looked up to.
as a child or as a young.
I will not impose that restriction, but if that's the way you want to internalize it, that's also perfectly fine. Corey's was
It's Corey's.
his
he's-
dad who went out for milk and never came back. So
Yeah.
for the audio listeners, Corey has gone to the restroom.
He has. We will listen intently.
Yeah. So we're waiting for that thunder truck. Thunder, whatever. For me, my personal hero.
Hero? He used the word hero.
He did use the word hero.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it has to be someone I personally know. I don't
have any personal heroes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I love my parents.
Yeah.
I do, but I didn't have the relationship with them where that they felt like a hero to me. I think it's because they were parenting me.
Right.
And I did not grow up with anyone in my life who felt like a quote hero.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I needed.
No, like I'm the same. Like obviously I looked up to my family in certain ways, in different ways, but I never idealized anybody enough to be a hero. Like the closest thing I would idealize would be my dad, but that's just because like he died when I was really young.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know him, and I made up this version of my dad that wasn't real. You know, like 'cause I didn't know him. But like all of my heroes were fictional. Like Spider-Man, Batman, like all that. Like,
see, I had a similar thing. So for people that may not know that, you know, your dad had passed away. My dad, basically, he was in prison and abandoned me. So like, I don't know how to say it any other way.
It's so hard to look you in the eyes and laugh at that. Because like, yeah.
He was in prison in Mexico, and he had made choices in which he abandoned me.
Yeah.
And I idealized, not that he was in prison, but like I made a version of him in my head that clearly was not how he was. So that was a little bit of like looking up of like, oh, he's at least doing things.
No, okay, real quick. This is gonna be a weird question. Did you have people in your life who would reach out to you on advice on how to interact with their own parents?
What do you mean? Okay,
So-
I don't know.
So my dad died when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so when I was in high school, maybe I just graduated, there was a girl who I was friends with in school, and her mom was in prison. And she was like, my mom's out of prison now, and I kind of want to like have a relationship with her, but I don't really know her all that well.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I get that, like, our situation is completely different. My dad's
completely different.
dead. Like, it's kind of different. So, like, did you ever have to like, oh, how do I deal with my parent who's never been around? Like,
No one ever told me their parents had been in prison. That's not
No.
something most people say.
Yeah.
Like, they really... I found out that some people do have parents that are in prison, but they usually don't tell people about it.
Sure.
Like, it's something that most people don't talk about or say anything about.
Right.
I have at least I never knew my dad. He was never around for me.
Right.
He was never a father figure in my life.
Yeah.
It's almost like steps away.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to make up these stories about him, because I didn't know. No, people would always tell me, "Oh, you're like him in this way." And I was like, how can I be like someone I've never met?
I get that all the time. Oh, so I would get, yes, I get that a lot. Yeah.
And they will say things not just...
I thought you nerf.
Yeah.
Nerf.
Nerf.
Down your chunks.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people can say... They're like, oh, yeah, that same mannerism. I'm like, how can I have a mannerism of someone that I've had so little interaction with?
I remember getting in trouble as a kid and being told I was just like my dad. I'm like, I don't understand. I barely know the guy. He left when I was really young and then died, like moved across the country and then died a couple years later. So, like...
What did he die of?
He effed around and found out. No. He
got
out. No,
the Gucci gang.
he got spinal meningitis.
Oh.
And so, yeah. So it's kind of... I'm gonna use the word funny, but it's not funny, obviously.
Clearly.
But he was actually he had plans to come and visit us because my oldest niece had just been born. He's gonna come see his first grandkid.
Yeah.
But if he had come, spinal meningitis is really deadly for kids, and it's also contagious.
Yes.
So there's a chance that my niece and myself could have also died. But
Is that something that you just get from, like, eating food somewhere? Like, how do you get spinal meningitis?
it's really funny. I've never looked into it.
Really?
All I know is that it's contagious and it's really deadly for little kids and old people.
I believe it's one of the... what do they have a vaccine for it that you have to get when you go to college? Meningitis?
Yeah, for sure.
You have to get it because you're going to be in such close quarters in the dorms, and so you have to get that vaccine.
Yeah. So
But
I have been vaccinated for meningitis.
I do think you are. If you know you're going to come in contact, they would give you a booster.
Yeah.
Obviously, like if you're
Because
going to be.
he had no idea. Like no one knew that he had it, and
If he would have gone to college.
I did go to college.
No, if he would have.
Oh,
then,
he would have.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm kidding. You would have gotten the vaccine for it.
So also too, my dad is what? Well, he would be. He's old.
Old.
Like to be my parent, he would. I'm in my 30s. My dad, if he was still alive, he would be in his 80s.
Okay.
So I'm 34. My mom's 74. He would have been 85.
Okay.
Like just turned 80.
So he may have grown up in a time where they didn't even have a vaccine for meningitis. Like like you wouldn't have vaccinated a baby for it because
right.
Because
he would have been in college in the 60s. But I don't think he ever went to college. I think he graduated high school and went immediately into the military. So if he were inoculated, it would have been in the military.
yeah, you know what? They might have given him a shot for that in the military because you're going to be in small, cramped quarters with
They
people.
obviously didn't. He got it.
Well, it's also
No.
30 years later.
30 years. You can get a vaccine for something and then have that what do they call it? That vaccine, I guess the viral load like wanes. So you have to get a booster.
Oh.
So he probably actually did get a vaccine for it in the military and then it waned.
30 years later, yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
I don't have any heroes. I don't have any personal heroes.
Okay, fictional.
Fictional.
Do you have any heroes, Corey, while she thinks?
Yeah.
Whether they're personal or fictional?
It's funny. I do. But
I'm really honored. Thank you so much.
I had a really weird relationship with it.
Okay.
Because I idolize my mom, but
you do.
I did not act like it when I was growing up. Like
Right.
me and her butted heads so hard, and it's just because like I felt looking back on it as an adult, it's like I felt like I couldn't live up to what she was. So my mom's basically a genius, and like she masters skill. Oh,
It moved.
Yeah, she just masters skills for the fun of it.
Oh, yeah.
And like she graduated valedictorian while working 3 jobs, like just insanely smart and insanely like, and also she's like if you think about Danny, the characters I play in D&D, because D&D is almost always one of two things: either they're like a facet of your personality or an idealized version of yourself.
Yeah.
My mom shows almost no emotion. I've seen her cry like 3 times in my entire life.
Yeah.
Woman of few words, hyper intelligent. Like,
All things you aren't.
yeah, all things I'm not.
Snipe! Bullying you back!
Take it. I am a
Thunder
cowboy. My daddy was a cowboy.
And my mama was a boy. Half person, half cow. That's me, a cowboy. Hoodalada,
Life's a nightmare. You guys are cute.
What were we talking about?
How your mom is amazing.
Yeah. So like I was just terrible to her. I think I told her to her face so many times how much it's like I hate you, like, and just because like, you know, looking back on it as an adult is just there was no living up to that. Like there's no living up to being born of a genius and not being one.
Yo, I get it.
Like,
no, like I feel that way about my mom as well. Like she was born like pretty post-war like in Denmark. You know, she's born in 49 and came over to the US as 16, 17-year-old with nothing and just dominated, you know, this whole time. And I always, I do feel like I have lit down that lineage sometimes.
yeah.
So Chris had a part 2. It's going to be kind of tricky because we don't really have heroes. He said, if they were your hero, if they were in My Hero Academia, what would their quirk be?
Oh.
My mom's would be being it's sort of kind of like Taskmaster's thing, where she can see something and immediately imitate it to an expertise level. Yeah. But as soon as she looks at something else and copies that, she loses the ability to do the thing she was doing before.
Gotcha.
So Corey didn't know this, but Corey knows this now, but I went fishing with his mom, and she, on the way back, told me how she had ADHD, And Corey couldn't believe that. And I was like, oh, that's probably why she was saying when she was saying when she was diagnosed with ADHD, it made sense because she would pick up a task, get really, really focused on that task. And then when she was done, she'd just throw it away and focus on the next thing. And I told you that, and you're like, what? She said that? I'm like, yeah, she never told you.
Yep. Well, of course not. My mom tells me nothing. She's, like I said, she's everything I idolize in like why, like, one of my favorite characters growing up was Kakashi.
Yeah.
He says only enough to what, like, to accomplish whatever he needs to accomplish. Like, he just masters things because, like, he's a born genius. Like, and my mom's the same way. She's just like, I'm gonna go learn how to do this thing. Like, why? Because I can. And then, like, so yeah, that would be her superpower, just be able to master skills that she can see as long as she can see someone do them. And then, but as soon as she moved on to the next thing, she loses her ability in the previous thing.
No, that's really good. I like that a lot. So we have a quick question from Isaac that in the chat. I like this because Corey. I'm actually curious about Danny because I know Corey's done this. So the question is, how would you feel if you were given the opportunity to be a part of a kids edutainment program, which is something Corey has a ton of experience with?
Yeah, I was in a kids show for 10 years.
Yeah. So what was your experience with that?
Yeah.
Like, did you work with a lot of kids in that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And Corey famously loves kids.
Loves them. Can't wait till he has so many.
Yeah.
I took care of that. That's never going to happen. I'm trying to figure out how to put this nicely. It's a struggle. So it's a lot like, I would say it's a lot like playing the lottery, where more times than not it's going to be a struggle. But the one time so the show was called Connect, and we had a rotating cast of kids, and it just took a while to find kids that would work, like that worked out. But the kids that worked out were pros. So like Camille was my favorite. She was basically an adult in a child's body. Like she was there to work. She was on it, and she had all the maturity of someone a decade and a half older than she was. And then you had Isabel, who when she got on, she wasn't necessarily as mature as Camille, but Isabel could, like, she not only had all her lines memorized, she had all of the cast's lines memorized.
She's in college now.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, but she had all the cast's lines memorized. And so, like, when we would go up on a line, she'd whisper under her breath, she'd be like, this is her. And then you'd be like, oh, yeah. And you'd do the line. So she'd had, like, everybody's lines memorized. But then there would be other kids that we'd have on the show that's like, all right, you're going to hit your mark and do this. And they could not, like, simple directions, just their brains were just...
Yeah.
I mean, you were on a set recently where a child peed themselves.
A child peed himself. Actually, in Connect, a kid peed herself on set too. So that just happens.
Wow.
Just didn't know that they could go use the restroom, so I just went there.
But in acting, they always say you never want to.
It's one of the 3 film sins.
It is
so
a 3
there are 3 film sins in acting: animals, weather, and kids.
And animals and kids have the problem of they are going to be more present than the adults in the room.
Yeah.
So if they're going to be more present in the scene, if you are not being present in that scene, it's going to look like you're doing bad acting, because kids and animals they're almost always present. But the problem is, though, is like kids, they do whatever. They're so present that they're not presently taking direction. Yep.
Like, I was just on a national ad.
Yeah.
And all of the extras were kids. All of them. And that was utter and complete chaos.
I didn't really think about that, but that makes sense for that commercial.
Yeah. They were all kids. And it was complete, unbridled chaos.
Because they're just doing whatever they want to at that moment.
I went to the bathroom to escape it all for just a little bit. I'm sitting on the toilet, and then this little head comes underneath. I have my pants down, and this little head comes in, and it's like, hello, and I'm like, get out. like, sorry, and then goes back.
They just do what they want at any moment.
And then, like, and so I wipe, I get done, I go out, and the bathroom is situated kind of at the back of the building, so there was a door that just led out into the parking lot, and that same kid who just peeked his head into my stall is just beelining out the door and is in the parking lot wandering off. And I'm like...
And we never saw him again.
what? And it's just like, and so like eventually the mom's like, runs after him, and he's just like, what are you doing? And it's just, oh my god! And then like in one shot, like the kid's just supposed to be doing a thing as normally as possible, and that was just impossible for him. Like he's playing a game, and this is how he's playing the game. He's like, like he is.
Do it to the camera.
He's just like death gripping it. Every muscle in his face is flexed as hard as he can, and he is just trying to rip this thing off its hinges.
I'm really sad the audio listeners can't see that.
And it was
awesome.
just, and he's just, and like it's, and he just looks manic.
The director's like, and do it more natural.
Yeah,
more natural.
Like, take after take trying to get this kid, and eventually, and it was the most savage thing I've ever seen on set. The director's like, get this kid off set. Like had to change him out because he could not just, like he was just so clenched.
That's awesome.
Every muscle in that kid's face was activated, and it was just wild.
That's so.
Have you ever seen a Baki Hanma?
Oh, the fighting one. Yeah.
That was that kid's face.
Wow.
Was Baki Hanma.
And meanwhile, you're like, oh.
And we're just looking at it, and he's not even the principal actor. He's not the focus of the scene. He's in the background and drawing attention away from us because he's just.
That's awesome.
Like it was, yeah.
You know, good for him. He was
working on a kid show is, and it's just it's rough. Like you're doing things at breakneck paces. Like we would do on this show, we would do 120 pages in 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So the turnover rate, the amount of pages you're getting through, that's like doing a feature-length film in 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So it was just bam, bam, bam.
That's incredible. Yeah. Danny, do you have any experience in edutainment?
No.
Okay,
I don't really like children. I'm gonna be honest. I
get
don't.
it.
I think it'd be really cool to be, maybe to work on something that is educational, but you don't know it necessarily. Like it's not something that it is like the.
I don't want to be
forefront.
aware that I'm teaching kids something.
Yeah, I want to be unaware.
I don't really do.
Zaboomafoo, I love Zaboomafoo.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Like, I love
yeah.
Zaboomafoo.
An
That'd be fun.
animal-based kid show. I would love to be in an
That would be
animal-based
fun.
kid show. I would work my.
The Kratz
booty
brothers had their kid show.
Yeah.
Their thing that was fun too.
We can make our own kid show that's about cars.
off. No.
Kids and
animals.
cars because they go
Animals.
so well together.
I think so. Yeah.
You know what I thought of my hero now? I was like, it's spooky season. I was like, oh, Dracula.
Okay.
He's a man. He knows what he wants.
Yeah.
He's got a plan.
He also comes with quirks pre-installed. So
Yeah.
that's good.
He has a giant. He's rich. He's
He's
got
got a
it
giant
all.
what?
He's got a giant castle.
Got you. Giant castle. Look, she looked at me and said, "He's got a giant."
Did you hear that, audience?
got a giant-
We heard where she was going. You all are there. We're there, and we all know where she was going. She can lie to herself all she
He
wants.
likes men, women.
Yeah.
You know what? He does not discriminate.
He was 2023 before 2023 was 2023, and we all know where Danny's head was at.
Yeah.
He wants to travel the world too. I want to travel the world. These are all things I like. Oh,
She only wants to go to the places I don't want to go, which I find like the other day she's like, I want to go ride horses in the Middle East, and I was like, I have no desire to go to the Middle East whatsoever. It's hot. The bugs there are terrifying.
Do horses ride better in the Middle East?
They just have a lot of sand in some areas, and they can like ride
Like,
them. on,
we don't
a
have
strip,
sand in
like
America
a long
you could
strip of
ride
sand.
on.
I want to. They also have really great horsemanship.
It's called a beach. You can just go to a beach. A long strip of sand.
They have a long strip of sand. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a man who will suck my blood in a long strip of sand.
She's looking for a man with a long strip of sand.
A giant
Giant strip of
He has a
sand.
giant
strip of sand.
strip of sand.
Did I send you that TikTok video that was like why people are into vampires? It's because they want somebody who desperately needs you so badly that it sustains them.
Oh, is that you didn't send that to me?
I
No.
didn't send that to you. I thought about it.
That's cool.
Cool.
I'm glad you sent it to someone.
I sent it probably to Christian.
Yeah.
My other
and
wife.
I took it as like, oh, he needs me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said it to my other wife.
Yeah. I almost last night when you, because we did a show last night at Stomping Ground, and you were like, "Oh, I'm co-hosting with my wife." I almost stepped forward.
You should have.
I should have.
By the end of the show, you'll figure out which one is my wife. It's not who you think. Anyways, moving right along.
Also, too, there was a lot of points during Evil Mastermind where I was watching you longingly, and only people who got it, I think, were those two young ladies in the front row. And I was that joke was just for them. Yes, it was
just for them.
Yeah, it was very funny. All right, well, that is all we've got for this week on Take One Talk. Make sure to follow us and keep up with what we're doing by following us on social media at Take One Improv. Take the number one improv. Corey is going to say something.
I was just going to repeat whatever you said in an ASMR tone. You can find us at takeoneimprov.com or take the number one improv on all social media. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow Christian Eris on all his social media at
the THE Christian Eris. That's it.
That's it. Why did you say it like you had more to say?
Because I almost said .com.
.com.
The Christian Eris.
You can also find Danny Phillips at all her social media on...
Which is Danielle Yoshiko. It's Danielle Yoshiko. Yoshiko.
I refuse to spell out my name.
On all the social media. And you can find me at Corey J. Phillips, actor in MF Ghost, driver of fictional Nissan GTRs, at Corey J. Phillips.
And Shun has a giant...
Shun has a giant strip of sand.
Yes. All right, everybody. We had a great time.
Bye. Have a good week.